Let's go get him today, man. Let's go. Hey, dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3, dominate.
What the heck? Tom Brady just returned to the NFL, guys. I'm going crazy. I was in the car. I see the news and I speed home because, we got to make a video out. What is good, everybody? I am Rohan from 49ers Red Zone podcast alongside my co host, Marco Martinez. But we just got the news the Tom Brady is going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer in 2022. 2 months, Tom Brady has been in retirement. Obviously, there have been these little clicks. Mike Florio, obviously, of Pro Football Talk, has consistently said he's going to the 49ers. He's going to be the starter in 2022. But it's confirmed Tom Brady is going to return for a 23rd season. And I'm going to break it down for you guys. Once I get a little calmed down here about the Tom Brady news, I'm going to break it down on what it means for the 49ers and what it means for the landscape of the NFL, because this is huge news. Strictly speaking, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side, let's just go through it. Before the Tom Brady news, obviously, Tampa Bay Buccaneers had shown interest in Deshaun Watson, and I thought that they were going to be one of the front runners alongside the Carolina Panthers to select to try and trade for Deshaun Watson, because they've got a strong defensive roster and offensive roster. I know it's an aging offensive line, but they've got strong rosters on both sides. And I thought that with a quarterback of Deshaun Watson's caliber, and also the weakness of the rest of the division being the Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, and New Orleans Saints, that they would have been the front runners to win the division again. But guess what? All of that does not matter anymore, because Tom Brady is coming back. Tom Brady now will hold a cap hit, I believe, of $20 million. Are you kidding me? $20 million? In an age where quarterbacks make $50 million a year, you're telling me Tom Brady, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, probably a top 4 quarterback in the NFL, and it's arguable where you put him at 1 through 4, is only going to make $20 million going into 2022. That's $7 million less than Jimmy Garoppolo, for you guys that are wondering. That's crazy. And Tampa Bay right now, with the Tom Brady on the books, they're, I think, about $2 to $3 million over the cap. But that can easily be maneuvered. They've been looking. I think they might be a little under right now, but they've restructured Vita Vea. They have moves that they can make. They also have Chris Godwin, who they're probably going to try and negotiate a long-term extension and lower his cap hit for 2022. But this is crazy. This automatically catapults the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into contention in 2022. When you have a guy of Tom Brady's caliber, they're automatically going to be in playoff contention. Definitely they're overwhelming favorites in the division right now, barring a Deshaun Watson trade. But let's break it down. So obviously the most important thing for 49ers fans now is a Jimmy Garoppolo trade. We've been wondering for the last couple of days, where's Jimmy Garoppolo going to go? And yesterday when I was talking about Friday when I was talking about Deshaun Watson after he got cleared of all criminal charges, I was saying the front runners for Deshaun Watson should be the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I didn't believe in the Seattle Seahawks just because they cut Bobby Wagner, who was making $16.6 million, and they increased their cap space to $45.5 million. They could have easily fit Bobby Wagner in if they had made other moves. And also, Deshaun Watson, I don't think, is going to want to go to Seattle. It's a very tough division, the second toughest division in football, behind the AFC West, in my opinion. In addition, they've got an aging O-line, and Dwayne Brown, arguably their only above-average offensive lineman in 2020. I mean, you can make the argument for Gabe Jackson, but in 2021, he's a free agent, so he likely doesn't want to go back. He might go to a situation like the Indianapolis Colts. So deteriorating offensive line, poor defense, worse in the division, that's not really that enticing. So that's why I thought Deshaun Watson would not want to go to Seattle over a team like Carolina or Tampa Bay. But when you break it down, Tampa Bay and Carolina, both of those teams very close to his hometown of Georgia. He's from Georgia. He played college ball at Clemson, which is obviously in the Carolinas. So it made sense for him to stay in that southish range, moving from Texas to that southish range in the Carolinas or in Florida. But guess what? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now off the market. They have their quarterback for 2022. Bruce Arians obviously jokingly said he didn't he wouldn't trade anything for Tom Brady. He'd take at least 5 ones. And I mean, let's be real. If Tom Brady's on that roster, Tom Brady is going to stay on that roster. There's no way that Tampa Bay is going to find a way to let go of Tom Brady. It actually cost them a lot of money. It'll cost them $12 million to try and trade or cut Tom Brady, to my knowledge. So I personally, I don't believe any rumor that a Tom Brady trade is going to happen, especially if it's to the 49ers. I don't think that Tampa Bay is going to want to give up Tom Brady to the 49ers. You know what I mean? And so that's why I think Tom Brady is there to stay for 2022. He said it in his tweet that he was going to look for his 23rd season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But looking at it, Deshaun Watson now likely goes to Carolina. They're the overwhelming favorites. And unless Philadelphia somehow miraculously comes back in the race, or a team like the New Orleans Saints, or a team like the Cleveland Browns hops in as a dark horse, I think he's going to Carolina. And that doesn't really impact too much for a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. When you look at it, what were the teams in the original race for Jimmy Garoppolo? Two of them. And they're both AFC teams. Deshaun Watson is going to get traded in the AFC. And those were the Indianapolis Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those were the two main teams, especially after Indianapolis traded Carson Wentz. I said, though, that the Carolina Panthers could be a dark horse candidate should they strike out on Deshaun Watson, because Matt Rule is going into that third year of his 7-year, $70 million contract with the Carolina Panthers, and David Tepper is aggressive. He wants to win, and Matt Rule has not produced. Instead, he's found a way to make the quarterback position even more inconsistent. He showed that by benching Sam Darnold for PJ Walker, an XFL player, and then he also sprinkled in Cam Newton. He had a mix of 3 quarterbacks throughout the last 5 weeks of the season, and that's not a recipe for success, especially when you're paying that much at the quarterback position to those players. So he's going to want a stable option, and an option that could help them potentially move to the playoffs. And that's why I think that Carolina could have been a dark horse for Jimmy Garoppolo, because they aren't a team to be afraid to give up draft capital if it even pushes them a little higher, which Garoppolo does versus all the free agent quarterbacks in free agency right now, or expected to hit free agency, like a Marcus Mariota, like a Tyrod Taylor, and all those type of options, including Mitchell Trubisky. So looking at it, yeah, I didn't really think that Carolina was going to be part of the race just because I thought they were guaranteed to get Watson. I think this only furthers that chance unless the Saints swoop in. But if it does, if Carolina ends up getting Watson, guess what? Now you have the 2 teams in the race. All the news is clear up. Jimmy Garoppolo will be the next domino to fall, and it seems like he is likely going to the Indianapolis Colts. So I wouldn't be too worried about a Garoppolo trade. I understand the deadline, right? Tampering period starts tomorrow. So we could see a Watson trade as soon as today, although the Panthers and the Saints are teams that have said that they want to actually go and talk to Watson and see his interest in them. So that's something to be clear of. I think that it'll take a little bit for the Watson deal to happen just because they want to do due diligence, not only with the situation, but with the quarterback himself, make sure he's committed to the team, because it's going to be a hefty price to pay. But right after that, you can expect the 49ers to then move quickly on Garoppolo and try and free up that $27.5 million in cap, or $26.95 million in cap. Or sorry, it's 26.95, that's the cap hit, but $25.5 million in free space. And then once you free up that $25.5 million in free cap space, now you're under the cap, and you can go approach free agents with adequate cap space and have them try and entice them to sign with you. Because right now the 49ers aren't in the best situation. You can't go to free agents and you can't say, hi, we'd like you to come to our team, when you don't even have cap space to provide. And I understand they do probably have backup options, meaning the restructure of Ark Armstead that's likely to happen, and the extensions of guys like Jimmy Ward, Samson Ebukam, and Emmanuel Mosley that I personally believe should happen. I think that those 4 moves could also be on the back burner right now, just waiting for if Garoppolo gets moved or not by the 16th. But if not, I think Garoppolo, that move, that puts a deal, or that kind of like pushes the 49ers under the cap and gets them involved in the free agent market, which could happen as early as tomorrow. So stay tuned. Let's see how Garoppolo news hits. But Tom Brady, that's the biggest domino that we've seen in a hot minute, just because look at the last week, man. First, Aaron Rodgers said, I'm staying. Russell Wilson said, nope, stop. I'm going to steal your spotlight. 2 hours later, he says, I'm going to Denver. Then we see Carson Wentz get traded the next day. Then when we expect a Garoppolo trade, that doesn't happen. Deshaun Watson gets cleared. Now all the Deshaun Watson rumors. And then Tom Brady says, guys, everyone hold my beer. I'm just coming in. And he puts himself out there. Great job. Kind of great way for 49ers fans and NFL fans in general just to experience football. We've seen so much over the last couple of days, and it's not going to stop. Free agency rumors are going to happen. I'm going to be dropping a video either today or tomorrow on potential 49er free agent targets, not necessarily the big names, but also the kind of like the minor names that people might not know of, but the 49ers should be able to target in free agency. That probably comes tomorrow when the tampering period starts. But thank you guys. And make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and check out the podcast with me and Marco. More news coming soon. But this was some breaking news. I had to come on here and give my thoughts. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.